everyone. Sorry it's been such a long time since my last video log. I've been very busy with work. When I first agreed to take the job at the school, I was told I would have 15 classes a week, but as I previously mentioned, my two colleagues from the UK are stuck there. Borders have still not begun to open yet. Well, they've begun to. Charter flights, as they're being called, are being permitted from certain countries. I think Germany, Singapore, a couple others. And when I say charter flights, what I mean is you have to get special permission to be allowed onto them. You have to prove that you have a really good reason, or at least what the Chinese government would consider a very good reason to be going to China in order to be allowed on. So the process has begun, but it's going very slowly. Like everything else, China is going to phase out of the lockdown of its borders very slowly. Work is a bit challenging. We started in the middle of the semester, so that required some adjustments. Certain things like we're still required to try to keep the classrooms as well ventilated as possible. In other words, keep the windows open at all times. And that's a little bit annoying because it's very hot these days, very hot, and in this part of China very humid, so I don't really enjoy that part personally. And in addition to that, everybody is still trying to get back on their feet financially after the impact of the lockdown. One way I've heard that China has begun to try to help people recover is it has suspended laws prohibiting street vendors, prohibiting people from selling on the streets. Because a lot of people had to close their small businesses, and because the businesses were closed, obviously they weren't making any income, and so they were not able to pay the rent for the shop, and so they lost their shops. So parts of China where it used to be prohibited are now saying, you can sell your products on the street, basically, which I personally think is rather a clever idea. I too have been trying to get back on my feet. I went so far even as to ask for an advance on my salary from the school, which they very kindly agreed to. When I talk about how much I struggled through the lockdown and as far as money was concerned, I sometimes get teased. Chinese people make fun of me, or rather they make fun of how it's the quote-unquote American way of life to spend everything you earn and to never save. Like that's the joke, I guess. Americans don't save anything. They never save money, which unfortunately is not without at least some element of truth, I think I would have to say. So because Chinese do prefer to keep money saved in the bank for a situation just like this, many of them weathered the storm much better than I did, to be honest. But I'm doing much better, and I don't know. It's sort of comforting in a way, or maybe comforting's not the word I'm looking for. It's endearing almost. This sense of how we're all, as a collective society, we're all trying to get out of this together. The other day I was hit by a car. Not seriously, as you can tell. Obviously, I'm still up and walking around. Nothing bad happened. I just got a little cut up on my legs. And I was mad in the moment. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I was driving my scooter. I was crossing the crosswalk. The car came around the corner and it just didn't stop, and I was ticked in the moment. I wanted to something in me wanted to just get up, take my umbrella, and just smash the guy's window. I was so angry. But I didn't, of course. I was kind of in shock. And the police came, and the standard practice, I guess, when an accident occurs like that in China is the police determine who was responsible, and the responsible party then has to pay a sum of money to the victim. And so they came to me and they asked, "Do you want money from him?" It was tempting, but so many things went through my mind. I didn't want to be one of those people who, I didn't want to be like that woman who sued McDonald's for millions of dollars because she spilled hot coffee on herself. Sure, yeah, she might have been a victim of somebody's negligence, but millions of dollars, come on, it's very unequal. So I was like, you know what, I don't need to go to the hospital. For all I know, this man that hit me, he could have an elderly mother or father that has moved in with him because of the epidemic. Or maybe he was one of those people that lost his business and he's trying to figure out how to get it together. I don't know. I just felt like there was a very high likelihood that this man was struggling just like I was to get back to a more financially normal state. So it just didn't seem, I just couldn't bring myself to demand some exorbitant amount from him. So I said, you know what, give me 50 RMB. I'll go to the pharmacy and buy some bandages and we'll call it even, which he gladly did. And that was the end of that. So I don't know, I feel sort of glad to be a part of that, this spirit, I guess, this mentality that we're all trying to get through this together. And we've made it this far together, by working together and by looking out for one another. So I believe that we'll all get through it completely. The world will never be the same, but we'll get back to a safe place in every sense of the word if we work together. So good to see you guys again. I hope I can give you another update soon. 再见.